Now we move on to some important CVP relationships. So CVP, what does that stand for? It stands for cost, volume, profit. And basically we're saying there's a relationship between these items, right? Our costs will go up if volume goes up. If volume goes up, profit goes up. So all of these are related, and we're going to learn a handful of formulas that help us, help us extrapolate. There it is. Help us extrapolate what our profit is if there is a change in one of these items, or even if we want to work backwards. If the company says, I want to achieve a certain profit, right? Then what does that mean? How much do I have to sell in volume? And if at that volume, what are my costs, right? So all of these are related, and we can isolate and solve for one if we know the others, or at least how they're related to each other. So let's go ahead and get started with our first and probably most well-known of these CVP formulas that we're going to learn. We're going to learn a lot of formulas. But the first one, like I said, the most well-known is the break-even formula. So you have probably heard that term before. So let's start by defining break-even. Okay, so a company's break-even point is the level at which the company earns no profit nor incurs a loss. So another way of saying that is sales covers all variable and fixed costs. Right, so our sales perfectly equals variable cost plus fixed costs. Right, so both are the same. So company's break-even point is the level at which the company earns no profit. Why does it earn no profit? Because all the sales dollars that it has brought in has gone to cover all of its cost. But it was able to cover all those costs without being put into a loss position. Okay, so that's why it's important for managers to know what this point is, because they obviously want to operate above this point. They want to do more than break even. They want to earn a profit. So they want to know at what level must I be operating to break even and operate in excess of that. There's two ways that we can calculate a company's break-even point. So I'm going to abbreviate. So BE is how I'll abbreviate break-even point. So BE points can be expressed one of two ways. So the BE points, we can either calculate it for managers in units. We can tell them how many units do they need to sell to cover all their costs and not be in a loss position, right? So if they're a t-shirt manufacturer, how many t-shirts do they need to sell to cover all those costs? So in units, all right, we're going to put it in a quantity for them. The second one is we can express the company's break-even point in sales dollars. Okay, so let me give you the formula for each one of those. These are critical formulas. Memorize them because we're going to then see these formulas later on. So it's best to already have that in your pocket, right? Already know it. So break-even point in units. Anytime we have that lowercase u, it means the calculation is in units. Okay, so you're going to take fixed cost. There's no u here, so it means total fixed cost. And you're going to divide it by CMU. CMU, remember, was contribution margin per unit. And this is why I said it's good for you to start memorizing those formulas, because this is like, hey, you've got to know what CMU is. And if you're like, I don't remember what CMU is, go back and memorize it. We covered it, I think, in the first video for topic 3.1. CMU is SU minus VCU. That's what I mean. There's all these formulas within formulas. So you got to just start memorizing them now. Okay, so break-even point in units, if we want to calculate that, company's total fixed cost over their contribution margin per unit. Again, it may not be given. You might have to solve for it. So there's your formula to solve for CMU. What about calculating a company's break-even point in sales dollars? So break-even point in sales dollars. That's my shorthand for it. Okay, it's going to be your total fixed cost. That's always the numerator, so that part's easy. Over CMR. And again, you're like, what is CMR? That was your ratio. I guess I should label that. Ratio is CMR. Contribution margin ratio. And these were the ways we could calculate it. Okay, so go back and make sure you have that memorized. And then now you know your break-even formulas in units and dollars. Do memorize that, and we will work through an example in the next video calculating the break-even point. We'll do it for Doberman Company. So if you have that handout handy, go ahead and find it.